What happens when a Democrat from deep red Montana says the quiet part out loud? Not, we need to study this. Not, we need to reach across the aisle. Not, let's lower the temperature. Numbered up, he said impeachment, and not just impeachment, bipartisan impeachment. And then he looked straight at Donald Trump and basically said, you're going to hit the road, Jack. That wasn't a cable news pundit. That wasn't a progressive firebrand from a safe blue district. That was Jon Tester, a rural state Democrat, saying Congress has been asleep at the wheel and it's time to hold this administration accountable. So the question tonight isn't just about Trump. It's about this. Are Democrats finally ready to fight? Or is this just another viral moment that fades by next week? Let's break down what Tester said, why it matters, and whether this is the beginning of a real shift inside the Democratic Party.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Big question. Will America survive to 250? We're almost there. It's an inshallah. We're stumbling there, and we have this august panel to discuss this very important question in 15 minutes. All of them are filibusterers. So let's hope that we can, inshallah, have some pithy comments. But we're gonna get to it. First and foremost, Senator Jon Tester. Don't kiss up to him. Don't kiss up to him. Just calm down. All right. From the great state of Montana.
Great crowd. Great crowd.
All right. Now, you believed in bipartisanship. You believed in a good time when Congress could do its job, where elected officials had a duty to the Constitution, where these people need to actually fulfill their oaths and keep people in check. However, the question I have for you, how do we get to 250 when one of the two parties are now reeks to a right-wing authoritarian, where Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz live in the anus of Donald Trump, and too soon? Or not soon enough? And if I may, many Democrats believe that the Democratic Party, I'm using their words, are spineless, feckless, weak, and cowardly. How do we get to 250 when a Congress is not doing its job?
With groups like this, that's how. Let me tell you what, this country has always been about we the people. And when folks stand up and make sure their voices heard, people change. I believe in bipartisanship. And I think there's one bipartisan thing that Congress needs to do right after the election next year when Democrats take over the House and the Senate, and that's impeach the son of a bitch. What? And guess what? Last time I checked, it has to be done in a bipartisan way, so they ought to get after it and get her done. Let me tell you something. I come from rural America. Rural America voted for Donald Trump, and what this guy's done to rural America is absolutely, unequivocally unacceptable. What he's done to the markets for our farmers, what he's done to our healthcare system, what he's done to housing, what he's done to man, oh man, more things than I got fingers on my hand accountable. I will tell you, it's insane. And I've got to tell you, the only thing that I know that, by the way, Congress has been asleep at the wheel for 13 months, but the only thing that I know that Congress can do to hold the executive branch accountable is they need to get a hold of some folks, just like they did back in Nixon's time, and say, well, do we have enough votes to impeach this dude? Because they should. And then they walk into the White House and say, guess what? You're going to hit the road, Jack.
I'm going to ask you a quick follow-up. Democrats right now have the lowest favorability rating in 3 decades. I heard you. What would you want Democrats to do in this moment to regain the trust of people so that, inshallah, we can get to 250?
Well, I mean, the truth is they need to start challenging the administration on everything that's out there, and some of them have been. But the bottom line, they need to, and they need to start talking about issues that people talk about at their kitchen table, because they're not, and they need to. Starting with affordability, starting with making sure that businesses out there got a shot, and working families got a shot, and family farm and ranch agriculture got a shot. They need to talk about the issues that are important in this country. They've forgotten about that.
I would say maybe even tax the billionaires. Just throwing it out there. That's just me. That's me. Tara, give it up for Tara Sedmeyer. Tara, we are...
Let's be honest, when Jon Tester said, you're going to hit the road, Jack, that wasn't just a line. That was frustration boiling over. And whether you agree with impeachment or not, one thing is clear. The temperature inside the Democratic Party is rising. Tester, a senator from rural Montana, isn't some coastal liberal caricature. He represents a state that voted for Donald Trump. He understands rural voters, farmers, ranchers, working class families. And when he says rural America has been hurt, that's not cable news spin. That's coming from someone who lives it. He laid out the argument clearly. Markets destabilized, farmers squeezed, healthcare strained, housing affordability worsening, Congress failing to check executive power. Now here's the part that matters. He didn't just call for impeachment. He called for bipartisan impeachment. That's a massive distinction because impeachment without Republican support, that's political theater. Impeachment with Republican support, that's constitutional reckoning. Tester even referenced the Nixon era, when members of the president's own party ultimately put country over party. And that's the real underlying message here. Accountability should not be partisan. But let's zoom out. Democrats right now have low favorability ratings. Tester acknowledged it. He didn't dodge it. He said something Democrats need to hear. Stop talking past people. Start talking about affordability. Start talking about kitchen table issues. Start talking about billionaires paying their share. Start fighting on what affects everyday families. That's not radical. That's practical. Here's the tension inside the Democratic Party right now. One wing believes restraint and civility will win the day. Another wing believes strong confrontation is necessary when democratic norms are at risk. Tester's comments show that frustration is no longer limited to progressive activists. It's entering mainstream Democratic leadership circles. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Impeachment is serious. It's constitutional. It requires evidence, votes, and political will. It's not a slogan, but Tester's point wasn't just impeach. It was, Congress must use its power to hold the executive branch accountable. And here's the strategic question moving forward. If Democrats retake the House and Senate, do they focus on governing and rebuilding trust? Or do they pursue aggressive oversight immediately? Because voters, especially swing voters, care about results. Tester's smartest moment might not have been the hit the road Jack line. It was when he said Democrats must talk about affordability, working families, family farms, small businesses. That's how you rebuild a coalition. Not just outrage, not just resistance, but solutions people feel in their daily lives. So what does this moment signal? It signals that some Democrats are done playing defense. It signals that rural Democrats are pushing back hard. And it signals that 2026 and beyond won't just be about personality. It'll be about power, accountability, and economic survival. The question now isn't whether Democrats are angry. The question is whether they can channel that anger into strategy. Because at the end of the day, voters don't reward volume. They reward results. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should impeachment be bipartisan or not at all? Are Democrats finally finding their backbone? Or is this political overreach? This is Capitol Blue, and we're just getting started. Why does